Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. You're probably wondering, why should I watch over here instead of anywhere else? And that's because over there, they don't care about what you have to say. They say this all the time. They talk down to us. They think we're just a bunch of clowns on YouTube, Twitter. But I think it's the opposite. I think we know exactly what we're talking about. So I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. So without further ado, let's get to it. We're watching a clip of First Things First, talking about Brock Purdy and Jed York. It's talking about how it's a good problem to have and how they want to pay Brock Purdy good money. Although he did say, I didn't watch this whole clip, but I saw, he says a number, that I'm like, okay, that's actually on the lower end. Like, I wonder if he's trying to plant some seeds, to be like, this is a really good number, and all of this. So I am curious to see how they handle this. I only ended up watching the first minute of this clip because I didn't think I was going to review it at first, but then it got real good and I was like, ooh, okay, I really, really want to do this. So let's just jump right into it and we'll break it down from there.
Their family members, let's check in on San Francisco. Jed York talked about Brock Purdy, who is currently earning less than the 49ers punter. Here's Jed on Brock's future. Take a listen.
I think it's a good problem when your quarterback is one of your highest paid guys on your team and in the league. It's what the market is, right? It's not like Brock is going to ask for something that no one has ever asked for before. You have, I don't know how many players making over $40 million as a quarterback right now. Yeah. And when we signed Jimmy several years ago, it was the largest deal in the history of the NFL for 3 minutes. But we were paying Jimmy 26 or 27, and you see the market has it's changed.
Okay. Brew, does Brock deserve a monster payday?
The best thing about this good problem is you don't have to decide this offseason.
You're such a coward.
No,
unbelievable.
I'm dead serious. It's not about cowardice. It's about, I'm the type of guy that wants to be certain before I would give somebody a huge payday. I thought Kyler, he had pretty good his first 2 years. There's no way they should have signed him to that contract the first 3 years. Tua, I'm like, we got to see. Brock, he's had a year and a half, and he's been very good. I don't think he's comparable in a positive way to Jimmy Garoppolo, because Jimmy Garoppolo never led the league in passer rating. He never threw for 4,000 yards. He never was in the MVP discussion. So Brock's been very good. But I get to sit back and watch it for one more year before I have to decide. And I do think this. I think Brock might be, speculation.
If you dare say take a discount.
No, I think he's definitely the type of guy that would take a hometown discount.
Who are these guys?
I think he's smart enough. Now we'll see what type of year he has. If he comes out and is way better than even last year, that could be different. But if he has a similar type year, I think he could say, you know what? I love Kyle's system. It fits me. I like what we got going here. And I'm talking about, would he take somewhere between 45 and 55?
Well, okay, all right. So I have a lot to respond to there. First of all, I love Brew's optimism about guys taking discounts, despite the fact
that it should.
But no one ever does on their first deal. Nobody.
Mahomes didn't take quite as much as he could have got. He could have really got a lot more.
Mahomes' deal was unique because he got something in return, which is the most truly guaranteed money of anyone ever.
But most people thought that wasn't a great deal for him.
I get it, but it was also a unique because it was 10 years
Brady
long.
Took less.
It was not on his first deal, though. I'm saying everyone, when their first chance to get paid, get the most money they can get. So maybe Brock is different than everybody else, but that's not even the most, to me, noteworthy part. The most noteworthy part is, once again, despite all our arguments about Brock Purdy, Brew agrees with me.
No, I don't.
So much of it.
No, I don't. You didn't even think he belonged in the MVP conversation.
But Brew, which is a separate discussion than this one. This is about.
No, it's not a separate discussion, because it's a separate discussion because it doesn't fit Nick Wright's narrative. He's trying to say Brew, you're saying how good Brock Purdy is, but you actually agree with me, Nick Wright, saying that he's not that good, and that's why you're afraid to pay him. And it's just not accurate. You can think someone is really good and still want a little bit more time to see what's going on. You can say, I think that there's amazing potential, and I think this player is really good and better than you think he is, but I still want to see what happens. I still want to see him play more than just a season and a half. This is akin to you meeting someone, a girl or a guy, whatever, and it's just like, this person's amazing. Oh my God, they're so awesome. They're blowing me away. They're so funny. They're smart. They're this, they're that. They make me feel special. It's like, great. Okay, so go marry them. It's like, whoa. I'm really into them. I've only known them for like a couple months, but like, I just want to give it a minute. Like, it's like, well, if you really knew, if you were really confident that you loved them and you were falling for them and that they're this great person, you should marry them. It's like, what? That doesn't make sense. It makes zero sense. It's absurd. So I really think what Nick is saying is just trying to back Brew up against the wall and be like, see, I got you, which is just not true. I mean, he's setting up, it's a false equivalence right now. And it's the problem is that this is what makes Nick a good debater, because he's good to do that, but he's also doing it against Brew, who is a lot more old school and kind of like takes those punches and isn't quick enough to always catch them. But what Nick is doing, he's playing the game where you put a ball under a cup and you switch it around. He always wants to do that and try to make it look like, see, you got me. Then when Nick's like, when Brew's like, no way, I don't agree with you. Like, you didn't even think that he was good enough to be an MVP candidate. And he goes, well, that's the different discussion. No, it's not. It's all part of the same discussion. You're evaluating how good do you think Brock Purdy is. And so it's just, I always find it interesting, honestly.
How, Wilds, ask me right now about quarterbacks I like, if I would absolutely commit to them if I were allowed to right now this moment.
Would you absolutely, if you had the paperwork there, give Trevor Lawrence the highest paid quarterback in the NFL? $56 million, 0.5, whatever, yes. CJ Stroud, yes, absolutely I would.
Now?
Yes.
1 year?
Okay, but see, that's the difference. I love CJ Stroud. Right now, no.
So, and again, CJ's not eligible, and Trevor...
and neither is Brock.
And Brock's not eligible for another year.
I love CJ Stroud. I want to see him do it another year.
You didn't want to give Hurts the money.
Yeah, because I don't know that I think Hurts is great. And I know I don't think Purdy's great. And so the point that I'm making is this. We can say, Brew can throw at me all he wants, that I am holding his draft position against him. But we all know that if Brock Purdy was pick 1-1 and had this exact resume, Brew would not be sitting here saying, I need to see another year. If he was pick 1-1.
I'm saying it about CJ Stroud.
But no, but he hasn't the same resume. 2 years. He's had 2 years.
He's had 1.5 years. Not even 1.5 full years. So he's had a few more games than CJ Stroud.
And
I just want to make sure before I throw that
you
type
caught
of money
Nick,
at
and Nick
somebody.
can't come back.
That's all. That's just my philosophy.
Yeah.
They're also telling him in the earpiece, hey, we're going to commercial. But no, I mean, that was a great comeback by Brew. Because it's true. He's saying like, oh, CJ Stroud. And yes, CJ Stroud had a tremendous amount of success. But also, yeah, you have to see the NFL is littered with quarterbacks who had 1 or 2 amazing years, MVP years, only to like not really do a whole lot. Carson Wentz, Derek Carr, both come to my mind. And I don't think they're terrible quarterbacks by no means. I've spoken positively about both those quarterbacks. But this idea that, it's like you just have to know right now what to do with them is just silly. I get why, how about this? Nick is saying that he's holding, that they're holding Brock Purdy's draft, number, his, where he was drafted against him, where if he was 1 of 1, first pick in the draft, that he would then be more likely to extend him right now and give him all that money. What if Trevor Lawrence is playing the way that he's playing right now, and he was the last pick in the draft, Nick, right? Would you be so sure about that? I could understand the CJ Stroud, but Trevor Lawrence's very up and down career so far, if he was the last pick in the draft and you saw him playing, would you be so convinced? And if you didn't know how great of a college career that he had, would you be so convinced? The answer is no. You would not. There's no way you would be giving him all that money. So it's just comical. And then even like brings up Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts balled out in a Super Bowl. You really, according to PFF, Jalen Hurts had the second best quarterback performance in the NFL since they started doing it since 2006. Okay, better than Patrick Mahomes, better than Tom Brady. Ironically, the top 2 quarterback performances ever in Super Bowl histories is Nick Foles, number 1, and Jalen Hurts, number 2. So what has Trevor Lawrence done? And I think Trevor Lawrence will be a good quarterback. I really do. But this idea that you're just so confident in Trevor Lawrence, but like not confident in, say, Jalen Hurts, or you're so confident that Brock Purdy is not the guy, it just it just doesn't make sense. It just seems like he's reaching conclusions based off of inconsistent analysis. It's okay to have those conclusions, but the reasons that he's presenting don't add up because you're not applying the same parameters to evaluate each quarterback. And the proof of that is there's no way if Trevor Lawrence was the last pick in the draft that he would be so confident that he would, that he would just give him all that money, make him the highest paid quarterback ever for, the next month until someone else does. So I just don't. But, and then again, he's gaslighting Brew to make it sound like it's not okay for Brew wanting to wait. Because even Brew's saying, I love CJ Stroud, I'm confident he's going to be a guy, but I just don't want to wait. And that's what smart people do. That's the appropriate move. That is why the NFL set it up the way they did, because too many people were wasting and losing their money on players that they thought were going to be great, only for them to not be great. That's what happened. So yes, you got to see what's going on. That's why it is smart to date someone for a year or two, right? You date them for a year, then you move in and live together for another year or two. And then you're like, all right, depending on how old you are, you're like, all right, great. Let's do this for real now. But you don't meet someone, move in with them a month later, and then propose to them 2 months after that. You don't do that. So that's what Nick's trying to force Brew to do, and saying the fact that you're not willing to marry this person within the first couple of months of meeting them, that means you really don't think they're that special. And it's like, that is not the way this world works. That is not the way it works. Would you have been so confident just to pay? If you only saw the first year of Tom Brady playing, or the first, game, season and a half of his games, would you be so sure that he was going to become the GOAT? I don't think so. And the truth is, we were not robbed, but we didn't get Patrick Mahomes his first season. And you know what? The fact that Andy Reid had him sit for a full season is all the proof that I need to know that Patrick Mahomes was not ready. Because you know what? If Patrick Mahomes was truly ready right off the bat and was ready to go, Andy Reid would have put him in there. But instead, he knew what he had. He knew the talent. He knew that he needed to develop him. He knew that he had to work with him, that he was, really going to let him bake and learn more and do what I believe is the smartest thing to do for, a quarterback. So I agree with that decision. But it is further proof that, to think that maybe Patrick Mahomes would have just jumped in and would have skyrocketed to a Super Bowl his first season is unlikely. And yet we've had some great success with a CJ Stroud or none other than the Brock Purdy. Yet you don't want to give him any of those flowers. And I get the hesitation of calling Brock Purdy elite. I do. Or amazing or great or a top 3 quarterback. I do. I truly do. But to not give him any type of credit, to act like he's essentially, lower than Baker Mayfield is asinine. He was so confident about paying Baker Mayfield and how good of a move it is for Tampa Bay, yada, yada, yada. Brock Purdy is way better. It's not even close. It's not even a conversation. It's not even a debate. I will take Brock Purdy over Dak Prescott, over Baker Mayfield any day of the week, and it's not even close. I wouldn't even have to think about it. I wouldn't even have to contemplate it. It would be boom, done, let's go. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you think the 49ers should do with Brock Purdy? And do you think $40 million is a good number? If you had to pay $60 million, to Brock Purdy? Would you do it? You know, what do you think they should do? Let me know in the comments below. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. And if you're watching this video, that means a whole bunch of other videos have been posted. So definitely please check them out as well. Thank you so much, and see you next time.